Hey, what's up guys? We got an exciting video for you today, but first we gotta go to Walmart and get some materials. Alright guys, so I'm walking out to the truck. We're going to head to Walmart. We're going to go and see what they have in the fishing section, and we'll go from there. What's up guys? So we finally left Walmart. Got all the materials I needed, and I made it out of there with only spending $15.85. So I'm gonna take this back to the room. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about what I got and continue from there. Alright guys, so what did I pick up from Walmart? So I picked up $15 worth, as you can see, somewhere on there, $15 worth of bass fishing lures. Now, for the beginner bass fisherman, a lot of y'all have questions of what you should get. I don't know where to start. I don't know what bass like to eat, all that stuff. So I went out and I tried to do a $15 budget to get all y'all started on bass fishing. Okay, so guys, first off, I picked up 3 soft bait types of lures. When you're on a budget or you're a beginning bass fisherman, I really suggest that you stick to soft plastics. The reason being is if you learn how to finesse with soft plastics, everything else will come a lot easier to you, and you'll have a better understanding of how the fish work. So the first thing that I got was a Dinger Senko 5-inch made by Yum, so you can see. Now the thing about Senkos is they're highly adaptable, and you can pitch them. You can use them as trailers on spinner baits that you might pick up later on. You can just rig them up weightless, or you can put a weight on them, and you can wacky rig them. You can basically have a whole different form of techniques that you can use with these Senkos that are pretty much endless. The options are endless for these things. I got 5-inch because a lot of bass from very, very small to your monster bass will bite on these, so it's not like you're going to be throwing an 8 or 10-inch worm out there and maybe, you know, getting a fish or two. Lastly, the color I picked was green pumpkin because this is one of probably the most adaptable colors for any lake. They do really, really well in clear lakes, and they also do really well in murkier water, so that's why I chose that. So second, I chose some Culprit 7.5-inch twirl tail worms, and they're in the red shad color. The reason why I chose these worms is because they're a lot like the Senkos, and I really like using these with a weight on them. They do really well, and the tail has a lot of action. So, you know, learning how, as you get better and better at finessing and learning how to use the action of these worms, they become really, really deadly. If you rig them up the right way, you can actually just cast them out and reel them in almost like a crankbait. You put enough weight on them, they almost act as a jig. So that's why I chose that. The 7.5-inch is because you really don't want to get anything smaller, because you have to remember at least 2 to 2.5 inches of this bait is the tail itself. So the action, the main body of the worm, is only around 4 to 5 inches. So that's why I chose these. Lastly, for the soft plastics, I chose a black and blue Christine crawl worm. Now, this is probably the most adaptable bait that I chose. The reason why I chose these and the reason why they're so adaptable is because you can use them with hooks and they have really good action. Weightless like the Senko, or put a weight on it. You can swim it, you can flip it, you can use it as a jig, but also these make really good jig trailers. A lot of people get the pigs, but the pigs are starting to phase out now in the bass fishing world or community, and they're starting to use more of these crawls as trailers. You can also put this on a spinnerbait and it'd make a really good trailer. Now, I got this in black and blue because not only is black and blue, in my opinion, the most adaptable color there is, but also because for my fourth and actually my last bait, I got a black and blue bass jig by Arky. The reason why I chose the Arky is because they're really cheap. They're the cheapest of them, and they're actually made really well. And this is the micro-honed hook. It's a 1/4 ounce, and it's a little bit smaller, and it's a football jig. So they make a couple different ones. If you want to go heavier, then I suggest going heavier, but there's nothing wrong with the 1/4 ounce. That's actually what I found out to be better for me. So these two paired together actually work extremely well and will definitely put you on the right foot to catching bass. And the last two aren't baits, but they're accessories that are needed to fill all these baits. So first off, I got some Eagle Claw wide gap worm hooks. There's 6 of them, and I think these are, yeah, they're a 5/0. So this will fill basically the soft plastics anywhere from the 5 to around 8-inch range. I wouldn't go any bigger, any smaller than that. And these work extremely well. They're the best for the price. I didn't completely cheap out on the hooks, but Eagle Claw makes some really good hooks, so that's why I chose those. And last is I got some Water Gremlin 3/16 ounce bullet sinkers. Now the reason why I got 3/16 ounces is you never want to go too heavy, because I knew I was going to be finessing all this and I was going to be pairing it with soft plastic. So it's not like I'm catfishing and I need, you know, over 2 ounces of lead. These right here will keep it heavy. It'll sink it to the bottom fast, but it'll keep the action of the bait quite well. So that's why I chose those. Alright guys, so I hope y'all enjoyed the video. That's 5 or 6 things to get you started bass fishing that will put you in the right direction. I wouldn't change anything that I put on that list. I think the colors match perfectly. It gives you a wide range of stuff to work with. Now, if you have a little bit of knowledge about bass fishing, then maybe you might be able to mix up the colors depending on the lake that you're using. But as a true beginning starter kit, if you just have an empty tackle box and you just decide one day to go bass fishing, this is what I recommend.